having some technical problems. And the map draft is underway.
What are you rooting for here? What do you want to see?
What do I want to see? I mean, at this point, give me Hollywood or Dorado. That'd be great. Or Temple of Anubis, just to see teams just hate their lives.
You know, sadly, I think we're probably going to go to Kings Row. And I say that because I think that teams, not only are teams just very comfortable on it, but it's a good way to gauge where your opponent's at as well. So kind of seeing their strategies, because it is the staple point that both these teams kind of want to see, kind of feel the other person out. How are you doing on Kings Row, and what can we learn from how you're playing here?
Yep, and Kings Row still... Actually, Eccentric was taking out Kings Row first pick every time last time. So this is already a sort of change for them, because they're taking out Gibraltar first instead.
Yeah, I think part of Eccentric's strategy taking out Kings Row yesterday when we saw them was taking away people's comfort zones. They felt they were the better team in a lot of their matchups, and they just didn't want a team to be comfortable and maybe sneak a win out on Kings Row. So they felt overall, regardless of the map they were on, they were going to be able to beat the team. But that's not the case when they're playing against Mixup.
Yeah, and actually Kings Row seemed to be more of a favorite among EU teams anyways than NA teams, although, as mentioned, Kings Row was historically a very, very strong team for non-Enigma. That's where they would bring Envious to when they were trying to take them out, and they actually took maps off of Envious on that map from time to time, so I wonder if it's a mistake leaving Kings Row up for Mixup here.
Yeah, maybe Mixup has decided they do not want to play King of the Hill, banning out both Nepal and Lijiang Tower. Eccentric taking out Gibraltar and Volskaya. Temple of Anubis is then taken out by Mixup, so 2 control points off the board. Imagine we'll see Hanamura come off the board as well.
Yeah, it seems very, very likely. I mean, Hanamura is still there lurking. There's still the possibility of going to Japan, but teams have generally not been a fan, so would not be surprised to see Mixup take out Hanamura right here and right now.
Eccentric does ban Numbani, though, and perhaps after seeing what Mixup just did on Numbani, they don't want to deal with a Choreborn on Numbani defense.
I'll tell you what, I think Eccentric will be taking out Kings Row with their final map ban if it's not taken out now. And I think maybe they're just saving it for the last part so they can, you know, maybe try and make Mixup ban it instead and give them a little bit more of an option.
Yeah, I do recall Mixup playing rather well on Dorado, too. I mean, those staple maps. Dorado,
no, that was their second favorite map, I believe.
Yeah. But we're going to somewhere new, at least. We're going to either Dorado or Hollywood. Sweet.
Yeah, you might get your Dorado dream here.
I like Hollywood as well, honestly. One of of the best parts of Hollywood I think is overlooked is like the agent in the limo. The voice lines that he has are great.
Hex, there it is. All right, so we're going to Dorado.
Everyone be quiet. Listen to the Dorado music.
I mean, how could you not? Speaking of, what are your thoughts on the Dorado music change? Was it nerfed or buffed?
You know, as much as I love Dorado, I haven't really noticed the difference. What's the difference? They sound similar to me.
They absolutely, I mean, they're similar. It's still a similar theme, but it's definitely different. Like, it was rearranged.
I'll have to look up the YouTube and really give my in-depth, thoughts.
I mean, with your love of Dorado, I thought you'd have a little bit more thoughts on this topic.
You know, I've been saying I love Dorado because I love the music, but it's really just because I love pinatas, and there's pinatas everywhere on that map.
You know, that's fair. I can respect that. So teams are setting up. We're seeing if the sides are final, and if they are, we will be heading directly in.
Yeah, it'd be great to get in that lobby. It sounds wonderful.
All right, so it looks like the teams are ready. We're ready.
Can you get me in the lobby?
Oh, wait, no. Not ready. Not ready. One of these days, it's going to happen. We're going to start without you. It's going to be terrible.
I'm the youngest of 4 children. I'm used to being ignored and overlooked, so my feelings aren't hurt.
Hey, casters. Don't you mean caster, singular? All right, so Hex is in the game, and now we are actually good to go.
Yay. Yeah, how would you leave me out of the game for Dorado?
For Dorado, I mean, that'd just be cruel and unusual punishment, right up there with getting camped by a Genji all game for you.
Yeah, that'd be tough. The only thing that'd be worse is, like, you finally break the Genji camp, and then around the corner there's, like, 2 tracers. Happens to me every game.
So we are now in on Dorado. It's going to be Mixup versus Eccentric. One of the best teams in EU against one of the best teams of NA. And I don't even know what to expect here, Hex.
Eccentric is a team on the rise. I really thought they were our favorites to kind of win yesterday. It didn't work out for them because we saw some other rising teams, but they're one of the EU teams that I feel has a great chance against a team like Mixup, who right now I guess I'll just slot them in as number 2 in NA because it seems like they're at the same level as they were at Not Enigma, if not better.
Yeah, and That being said, don't count Eccentric. I mean, they're playing really well. They did end up going down yesterday, but to Reunited. But Reunited looked very much improved as well. So this is going to be sort of a good litmus test of where EU versus NA is. If Mixup dispatches Eccentric even more swiftly than Reunited did, then yeah, it gives you some idea. But if Eccentric can beat Mixup, then that's incredibly good for EU.
Yeah, my early thoughts on EU versus NA, just to get the chat fired up, was that NA has the best two teams. EU has a lot more teams at the same level after that. I think the fall off between the best in NA and the mid in NA is greater than the fall off between the best in EU and the mid in EU.
And that might be true. I think that's actually true in many, well, not necessarily NA being at the top, but I think it's true in general that EU generally has way more robust competition at the middle and low end tiers, where NA has this thing where, I don't know if it's because people don't like playing unless they're the top, where NA will have a good top tier and then less than robust mid tier at times.
Yeah, and we're remaking the game so we can keep that chat going as well. But yeah, across a lot of esports, it seems like the best of the best teams are, you know, NA will have one or two representatives for that, but EU just across the board has a deeper pool of talent.
Yeah, I mean, EU in general, I think it just has more people interested in these sorts of games. Certainly FPS games as well. I mean, when you think about competitive FPS games, there's so many great players hailing from EU, and it'll be interesting to see where the teams really lay between NA and EU as time goes on. You know, which team is going, which region will have more teams, which team will have more top tier teams. I think that no matter what, NA will definitely be fielding some very top tier teams, but I do think it could end up where EU just has a much more diverse cast of mid level and lower level teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen a lot more interest in Overwatch from EU. We had 16 teams and a couple on the waiting list yesterday, and we only had 11 teams sign up for our NA today, and that includes a couple EU teams. So NA guys in the beta, get your teams up, join the GosuGamers Discord if you're looking for teams. Over.gg, I think, is a website with competitive teams looking for players, etc. So get your game on and join our tournaments.
Absolutely. And yeah, so... And there you go, the stream delay is kicking in, and we're seeing all the NAVU stuff. Way to stir the hornet's nest hex.
Hey, we got to keep them interested while we're remaking games.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure what the issue is, but no big deal to do a remake. The lobby system in Overwatch now is great. It lets you just quickly remake games. And honestly, it just looks so, I mean, graphically, just everything looks so clean about the Overwatch UI now.
Well, that's what Blizzard always brings, right? So it's just... It's everything you want in a game mechanic-wise. I mean, at least for me. Mechanic-wise, game sense-wise, it's very similar to games that I love, but it has that Blizzard polish, you know, they just that extra little bit that makes a game look better.
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, that's just straight up a thing. So we do see these spots getting filled up now. Looks like I almost said not Enigma, but Mixup now filling up their spots. Still missing a handful of people. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Connection issues, computer issues, all the above. But as soon as they're ready, we'll be bringing you to map 1 of Dorado, Eccentric versus Mixup, EU versus NA. Can't wait.
Yeah, this is what we tuned in for, right? I mean, I guess I'll ask for early predictions. I think I know where you're going to go with it, though.
And the chat now it's like NA remake. Listen, guys, it's not it's out of our hands. We just gotta wait and hope for things to get started soon. Harblue saying sorry about that. So I'm in Harblue with the computer issues. Not to shame him or anything like that. This is where Chaz gonna explode. Shame Harblue, so on and so forth. But we are now once again loading Dorado.
Hey, the benefit is we get the intro music again.
I mean,
always
gotta take the bright side of things.
Always a silver lining.
Prepare to attack.
Hopefully they don't crash the server with these Tjorborn picks.
Are they conducting the ritual?
Not yet. They're not.
They haven't loaded in yet, but they might be. So we are waiting right now for the heroes to be assembled. I'm just curious, is the Torbjorn ritual going to happen? There's only 2 Torbjorn, so probably not. But taking a look at things that are solidified, let's take a look at the Eccentric defense as it rolls out here. We got Likely on Zenyatta, Lude on the Winston, Burix repping the Lucio, Nadir once again on Reaper, Pluppy on Soldier 76, and Skipjack on Reinhardt.
Yeah, I think the Soldier 76 pick is directly going to be in response to what they anticipate being a Pharah pick from Mixup.
Yeah, it does seem pretty likely, although interesting thing here is that Pluppy was so good on Pharah in the tournament yesterday. I'm a little surprised he's not running her on this map, especially since Pharah is really good to begin with, but maybe they're just going with the idea that, hey, if we go Soldier 76, it'll harder counter their Pharah, and we still have 76 poke as well.
Yeah, little do they know that Seagull's not going to be on Pharah. It is going to be Hardblue on Pharah. Enigma's going to run a Roadhog, Milo on Reinhardt against Seagull with the offensive Bastion, Ruin on Mercy. So a little switch up, Enigma now on Winston.
Yep, the timer is set. Both teams are already here, and 76 actually being pretty aggressive on his poke. He's not staying for a back. He's just going in and getting damage on that shield right now.
The offensive Bastion's the thing. He's up on the cart. He's getting healed through it, so they've just got Bastion on the cart behind the shield.
Yeah, Seagull trying to keep pressure for his team, and it's working right now. They have to really be afraid of this Bastion.
Yeah, this
Bastion
is hard to deal with.
And Reinhardt just gets taken out mid-charge from the continual fire of the Bastion. But no, Bastion is going down. That's 2 players down now for Mixup. Both teams suffering a bit of casualties. 1 for 1 here. And taking a look at Lewd. Lewd on the defensive Winston. And kind of interesting. You don't always see teams run the defensive Winston.
No, but I think with the archway and the positioning on this map, running a defensive Winston is fine because it gets so clumped up down there.
Yeah, Nadir went for the flank on Reaper there. Did not quite get what he wanted, and though not everyone ended up dying, you're seeing Eccentric now just getting pushed back a bit by the offense of Mixup, and even though Seagull died, he's back in on the Bastion. We're back at the Bastion cam.
Yeah, he's just turning that payload cart into a tank. It's really difficult to deal with, and they kind of have to maybe change their composition to get an answer for this, although they do have a Reaper, which should be able to deal with this Bastion on the cart.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with it, because right now the Bastion has been getting pretty good effectiveness. You know, he might have died a little bit early into that first push, but it really changed how Eccentric had to deal with it. They couldn't all just rush in because they would have just been mowed down by the fire of the Bastion.
Yeah, big flank here with a Lucio sound barrier coming down as well.
Yep, we see the Bastion now. Still trying to throw down fire, and here comes the tank mode. And Pluppy and the Deer, though, taking out both Ruin and Milo, and this not exactly going quite as well as they would expect. Seagull able to take out Burr. Double kill for Seagull. Both teams sort of stalling out here, but this might be a win for the defense.
Definitely is. It was a really nice time transcendence from Likely, kept everyone alive, but the Resurrection's going to change this fight.
Yeah, Resurrection bringing many dead players back up for Mixup. Enigma's going to be able to take out Likely, so suddenly, even though the fight looked like it was going pretty well for Eccentric, the Res just completely turns the tables, and here they come again.
Yeah, Eccentric won the first half of that fight, but the Resurrection makes it go into round 2, and they lost the second half of the fight.
Take a look at Hardblue here. Hardblue being sneaky, is on top, is going to fight the Reaper, gets a direct rocket, has to back up, have to be very careful fighting Reapers up and close. It does not always work well, but he almost has Barrage Hex.
Yeah, he wasted his Barrage earlier just singling out a Winston, and it wasn't that grand of a Barrage, but he's going to probably be more patient on it now.
Yeah, Seagull just taking out 2 players with the Bastion, so again, that's still doing all sorts of work for Mixup right now. You see a Earthshatter coming down. Not sure if it got any value. Sound Barrier could be dropped at a moment's notice, so the ultimate part of this very much favoring Mixup, and they are still rolling.
Yeah, that Bastion is still alive. Ultimate's on the cart, and Deer out in no man's land. I'm not sure what that was. I think he just got really tired of that Bastion being alive and sold out for it, but didn't get anything done.
Well, this is interesting because usually Nadir's gotten great value on Reaper, but he just has not been able to make it happen just yet in this game.
So we see, yeah, Pluppy is up on Genji now. They're really trying to get answers for this Bastion play.
Yeah, and we see the barrage coming down from Hardblue. Hardblue getting taken out by Likely, though, so that was a little bit of a misstep. We do see Genji now. Pluppy trying to use the defensive Genji. Not sure if it's getting the most value. We do see a Transcendence come down. Dragon Blade might be out any moment. Here comes the Dragon Blade from Pluppy. Pluppy, of course, known for doing really great play yesterday. Gets a slicing and dicing with Nadir, and they're going to wipe out the vast majority of the Mixup team.
Yeah, it looked like it might be a good resurrection because everyone was kind of ignoring the Bastion getting resurrected, so he was up in his safe spot again, but then Nadir focused him down. What they're doing with the Bastion is running the Mercy in with him to make sure that he gets set up, but there's a really smart pick on a D.Va there to start negating some of that Bastion, letting their Genji get in, letting their Reaper get in, and actually take him out, and that's
so I'm going to note something here. I would have expected Bastion to switch off here because this is a kind of a less than mobile point, but Seagull's sticking with it.
Yeah, they've had good success with it if they're running the pocket with it. Nadir comes off with a really early Death Blossom.
Yeah, we had both Reinhardts charging into each other. Earthshadow's going to go down, but Reinhardt is going to pay the price as it goes on. Both teams sort of going kill for kill here. but there is still push-up happening from the Mixup side.
Yeah, a lot more kills from Mixup. The only people alive were Nadir and Lude, and they're going to have to... They have their work cut out for them. Enigma pushed way forward on his Reaper as well.
Yeah, check out Lude right now. Lude poking down Seagull with 76, probably one of the better heroes against it. Seagull is going to go down to Nadir. So nice double focus from Nadir and Lude going in here, but they're not out of the woods yet, and Mixup is still trying to push us in.
No, they're getting a ton of kills. Only one alive is Pluppy right now. Berg's just spawned. This is Mixup's.
Yeah, Mixup, that just... At first it looked like they might have been okay to hold there, but you saw Enigma coming in as Reaper, dealing down also all sorts of damage. I think getting a double kill, and they just cleaned up.
That offensive Bastion is amazing. It negates the fact that he's immobile, and then when you put your medic pocket on him, or mercy pocket, it's really hard to kill him before he can set up.
Yeah, and the time there was very, very fast. I think the exact in-game time was 4:56. We're going to find out in a second here, and yes, it was 4:56, so a nice time coming out from Mixup. Going to be very, very hard to beat for Eccentric. We'll see how it goes.
I really like the Bastion plays, and it's not necessarily the kills or the damage, even though he has that, but it's just what it makes the other team do. You're forcing them that has to be their primary point of focus at the beginning of every fight. Everyone can react around that, and it just really puts the other team in an awkward position. And again, teams aren't really used to having to deal with a Bastion.
No, they're definitely not, and yeah, we're going to see where this goes, but if they want to... Well, of course, they're going to be attacking this time, so I wonder, A, are they going to steal the Bastion strat, and B, is Mixup going to decide to run a Bastion on defense as well?
It's a big possibility. We've seen sentries on cards before, Choreborn sentries, etc. We've even seen some Bastion. In the very first video, one of Overwatch released from official Blizzard was Bastion on top of a cart, so clearly this strategy has been thought of even from the developer's end.
Yeah, so there's a possibility that we might have to remake here. It's not entirely clear, but it looks like we're having some connection issues on the Mixup side. They've just been getting saddled with connection issues, computer issues, whatever you want to call it today, Hex.
Yes, well, no, everyone's in. Seagull just was able to join, so it looks like we don't have to remake. Cool.
Nope, we'll not have to remake. So both teams are loading back in. Looks like the Mixup defense is moving out, so a remake will not be in the cards, from the looks of it. But, and take a look at their defense. I got good news and bad news, Hex.
Hit me with the bad news first.
Okay, the bad news is that there's no Bastion.
Okay.
The good news is that there's a Torbjorn.
All right.
Depending on your point of view, some people just might outright hate Torbjorn, and I'm not sure I'll be saying this when we see Torbjorn in every game from here on out, but for now, variety is the spice of life, man, and we're going to see how Torbjorn helps defend this first point.
Well, Seagull was on the Choreborn on Numbani as well, and I think Torbjorn is a much better defensive option. The Bastion, of course, you just set up on that card. It negates his immobility. Choreborn is kind of split up into two heroes. You've got his turret and his actual hero, so you can die with the turret. That's fine. It still requires almost the same amount of focus as a Bastion would, but then you're still alive and you can pop down another one, so I really like the move.
Yep. The starting bell is about to be rung, and we're going to see how Eccentric decides to beat this time from Mixup. So the timer is set. There's 4:56 on the clock. And now let's see what Bastion does, or Torbjorn does, to start this game out.
I'd imagine once they see the Choreborn up, they might have to off-class into a D.Va. That's when they had the best success dealing with the Bastion last round, and I think if they don't crush this turret initially, they're going to have to switch.
So I know Seagull's positioning here. Not only do they have the Reinhardt protecting the turret, but he's positioned such a way that he's not easily poked as a Torbjorn, but they're still pushing up regardless. I'm not sure this is really the most effectiveness that Mixup was hoping for.
No, of course, the Choreborn does not have the same health in his turret as a full-on Bastion being healed does, so not the same effect.
Oh, we do see Nadir getting a quick pick on Milo. This is exactly what Eccentric needs if they want to beat the good time set up by Mixup. Skipjack, though, might be a little bit in trouble. Getting poked down, is able to back off into the building. Nadir and Enigma trading kills. Reaper all the way. And Pluppy now getting in there as Genji, so this is looking pretty good for Eccentric to start things out, Hex.
Yeah, it's a really good kill from Pluppy there on Genji, and he's still putting time on the card, and he's still pressuring them, so the other team, they should be able to reinforce this.
Yeah, it looked like they had a few people up, but they just got picked off towards the end, and Pluppy found himself without a whole lot of support, so still, that's a really good push to start out the game, and good pressure, but they're going to need to get to the first point on this next push, or they're going to very quickly see their hopes of winning this game fade away.
Yeah, so we're entering the ultimate phase of the game. Both supports for Mixup have their ultimates up, both Lucio and Mercy, but the offensive Ultimates.
Oh, they're not able to get a sound barrier off. Nadir just rushes in there with the Death Blossom. That was great play by Nadir. Great synergy between the Lucio speed up and the Death Blossom. And just like that, Mixup is wiped off the board. They're going to take point one, Hex.
Yeah, they moved way too fast for me. I was going to mention that the offensive ultimates were up, so it was going to be offensive versus defensive ultimates, and apparently we saw which one wins there.
Well, I think part of the problem there is I was watching Pierre, and Pierre was not able to sound barrier in time. I think if he got the sound barrier off just a little bit more earlier, there would have been a completely different fight. It would have negated the Death Blossom from Nadir, but because he died before getting it off, it just led to a complete team wipe. And look at Pluppy now. Pluppy taking out Harblu. He is taking dominance of the air, and now Mercy has to run for her life. Here comes Pluppy. Pluppy, of course, one of the better Genjis in the EU tournament yesterday.
Yeah, now almost everyone has their ultimate. We always see these fracases take place right outside of this church, so I imagine we'll see a lot of ultimates coming down here shortly as teams butt heads.
Yeah, we see Seagull is able to take out Nadir. Pluppy has Dragon Blade, but he's holding it for a special occasion right now, realizing that you don't want to just throw it out, less bad things happen. And here comes the Dragon Blade. He's slicing out. He is going to get the pick on Seagull. Almost slices down Fair in midair, but she takes the air and is safe. Mercy, though, wow, look at the evasion from Mercy and Fair here. Harblu and Ruin doing their best to stay alive.
Yeah, their resurrection was absolutely huge. The Transcendence was really nice, kept a lot of people alive on the cart, and even though the push is kind of stalled out, everyone's alive and they can regroup here.
Yeah, and this is interesting. I mean, it's not really full wipe for Mixup, but that's definitely what Eccentric wanted. Now, you look at the time to beat, they don't have that much time left. They only have about 1:50 remaining, but it's still a doable time, Hex, and they've been making the progress they need to make this close.
Yeah, I would watch this Pharaoh behind the cart, though. Harblu trying to get something sneaky going on. I think that Nadir sniffed him out, though. He knows he's up there.
Yeah, he definitely does. Let's take a look at Milo. Milo does have Earthshatter up. If we were able to land a big Earthshatter here as they come in, that would definitely help to sort of buy some time and make it better for them. Look at Nadir. Nadir comes out the Death Blossom, takes out Ruin and PR. The entire support backline for Mixup is down, and just like that.
There's that Earthshatter you were looking for, though. Hits 3, charges through, and tries to finish it up, but with both supports down, he just doesn't have the follow-up.
Yeah, no, that is not what they wanted at all. We do see Seagull, though, causing a little bit of havoc in the backline as Genji.
Yeah, a lot of deaths actually went down for Eccentric. Nadir's still up, still trying to push the cart, but I think he might be better served to escape right now.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where even though the Earthshatter didn't get that much, and Nadir had a great Death Blossom start up, I'm pretty sure Seagull just wreaks some havoc in the back with Genji to start that out there, and it adds a little bit of extra time to the clock, and you look at it now, Eccentric has very little time to spare. They only have 45 seconds, Hex.
Yeah, Pluppy looking to go in, though, and cause havoc in this backline. He's got the orb, he's ready, and at least he's distracting them while the cart continues to move. It's still something he has to deal with. They're not going to do. He's going in on Ruin.
Yep, they're pushing up the cart very fast here. Take a look at Seagull. Seagull diving in. Harblu dies very quickly, Lude. That's a good pick off from Lude. Dragon Blade's gonna come out. Can Seagull slice and dice? We're gonna find out. Sound barrier is down, however. Multiple people going down for the Eccentric team, and yes, they're going to successfully team wipe this. And wow, what a fight.
Yeah, it was a nice resurrection there. Turned the tide.
And not only is it what a fight, but that is GG. And there it is. It's called. So, game 1 going to Mixup, but Eccentric made a game of it. They only need, you know, if they had maybe an extra minute or so, it's possible they could have taken this game.
Right, of course, just quick on the stopwatch thing. The offense went first. They set the time. If the defense is unable to beat that time, the map goes to the offensive team. But yeah, what we saw earlier too, and you mentioned it when the Lucio went down because the sound barrier didn't go off. I think that might be one of the reasons we've seen a rise in Zenyatta is because the Lucio sound barrier is a bit of a cast delay. There's more than once that I've tried to cast a sound barrier and died mid sound cast, but the Transcendence comes off immediately.
They sort of had the loser's parade now as they have to bring in the payload knowing that it wasn't enough. We'll see what the play of the game was here. Might have been Genji in the backfield in that one play, actually. Or no. Let's take a look at Zenyatta.
God, these intros are so cool.
We see the Reinhardt v Reinhardt with Skipjack making his presence known.
Yeah, this is the immediate Transcendence I was talking about.
And negated basically 2 ults, not just the Death Blossom, but also the Barrage as well. That was great.
Yeah, we've seen Zenyatta re-enter the meta not only as a support for your Genjis and your backliners, but because his ultimate has been changing fights lately. If you didn't see any of the EU tournament yesterday, I recommend checking it out because the Zenyatta play was off the charts.
Yeah, definitely that is one difference between NA and EU is that we haven't been seeing quite as much Zenyatta play coming out from NA. It seemed to be sort of a EU phenomenon in their meta.
And no, NA is very happy with their Mercy and their Resurrections and the Mercy and Pharah play, whereas we saw a lot less of Mercy and Pharah yesterday in EU.
Yep. So we are going to take a quick break. This is Eccentric versus Mixup, NA versus EU, and NA has struck first blood. Mixup going up 1-0. You won't want to miss the rest of the series. We'll be right back.
Mixup just looks really, really strong. Not a flaw in their game so far. The games are somewhat close. The fights are going one way or another, but Mixup using just good resurrections again. I think their support play has been phenomenal, and yeah, that's why we're 1-0 right now. Yeah, it's definitely not anything they need to be afraid of, but they do ban out Watchpoint Gibraltar first.
And they do ban out Watchpoint Gibraltar. And yes, my microphone was muted for a split second. Thankfully, caught early before anyone was saying anything. But Gibraltar does go down first. And we were just saying that we're curious to see if Eccentric will try and go for Dorado again, because really that last map was very, very close.
It was close, and if it's a map that they feel very comfortable on, I could see them going back there. But if there's another map that they feel is their ace map, they need to go to it right now.
Yeah, definitely. They want to bring out their very best because they are facing tournament elimination should they lose this next map.
And, you know, with how well they played on King of the Hill yesterday, I'm surprised that, you know, I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if they took a King of the Hill just to give it a shot. They're banning out King's Row, though, taking away from Mixup.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to go to King's Row. And yeah, I agree. I mean, going to a King of the Hill when it seems like they've practiced it would not be a bad idea. At the very least, make Mixup waste their map bans on it.
Yeah, so Volskaya gone and now Hanamura gone. Our poor control point maps getting no love from Mixup. Still a possibility for Temple of Anubis, though.
There is still a possibility for Temple of Anubis. And, God, what am I saying? There's no and. We're probably not going to Temple of Anubis, but that would be...
We might. With the Bastion and the Choreborn play we've seen from Mixup, it's possible they're just prepping for an Anubis strat.
It very well could be a thing. So Nambani goes away. Dorado's still on the table. Both King of the Hill maps also on the table. So interesting. We see Dorado, Hollywood, Nepal. So we're either going to King of the Hill, going to Dorado for a second time, or finally visiting some Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood, phenomenal map for kind of it's a fragger map in my opinion. The supports, of course, are always going to be carrying teams in Overwatch, but Pharah's really shine. 76 is signed, Genji side. Like the rooftop section of Hollywood is just a bloodbath most of the time.
Yeah, the Hollywood is a fun map to watch, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're heading there. So Nepal goes down. Eccentric can bring them to Lijiang Tower now if they want to.
So Eccentric has to make the choice if they want to redo on Dorado or they want to go to Lijiang Tower.
They're going to Lijiang.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I could have seen them going either way there. I mean, I know they've practiced King of the Hill, but again, Dorado was close. I could see them saying, you know what, let's give it another shot there. But Lijiang it is, Hex.
I'm not surprised with how well Eccentric played on King of the Hill yesterday. They looked very good, of course, against teams that weren't Mixup, though. But I think Eccentric has a really good chance at this map.
No, they very, very much have a good chance at this map. And we'll see how they handle it. I mean, I'm not sure if Mixup has necessarily practiced a whole bunch of King of the Hill, whereas Eccentric certainly seems to have done it in scrims, and they had some great practice yesterday as well.
Yeah, you kind of have to wonder how much Mixup this current roster has practiced together at all. I don't know if they had played previous when the beta was open or if they've only been practicing since last Tuesday. Of course, they have a rich history together in gaming overall, so it's not going to take long to get back together, but not playing specifically together on these maps could hurt them.
Yeah, very much so. So, looks like both teams are right. We're about to get in on Lijiang Towers, the second time we've seen it today, and see what we get here, Hex.
I imagine we're going to see some Pharah plays, but also things to look out for this map are players who can change opposing players' positions and knock them off of cliffs. Being Winston, Lucio, and Pharah all come to mind very quickly as far as people who have abilities which knock people away and possibly to their deaths.
Yeah, getting knocked away is always sort of a painful thing. It happens in Nepal as well in that final point. That final point is just Winston Central if you go Primal Rage. But certainly good areas here to knock people off, especially on Lijiang Stage 2. Stage 2 is sort of this, you know, open air moat around the middle, and it's a Lucio playground, man.
Yeah, so I think we should be seeing a Lucio on both teams. Again, we talked about the rollouts on these maps. Rollouts just pretty much speed boost your entire team with Lucio. Some interesting things to note, though, before going through all the rosters. Ruin, well, was on May. Never mind. Boo.
Yep, there you go. But while we're talking about the roster of Mixup, we got Milo on the Reinhardt again, Enigma on McCree, Ruin on Lucio, Harblu on the Pharah, Pior on another Lucio, and Seagull on Genji. So they're opting to run the double Lucio, even though they have a Genji. Seagull not going to be getting the benefit of a Harmony Orb like Pluppy is.
Yeah, so Harblu goes up immediately with 3K. Oh my goodness, Harblu.
Yeah, Harblu, that was a very, very quick triple kill. Not wasting any time. There was no Rocket Barrage involved because Rocket Barrage isn't even a thing yet. I'm getting a note, by the way, that Seagull's going to find himself in some trouble here. Not only does he not have a Harmony Orb, but he's going to be dealing with the Discord Orb all game. That is going to be serious trouble for Seagull. Yeah,
some very quick time, though, and that point is already taken. It's very difficult to take this point back. Nadir trying to get in and do some distraction here. Skipjack on the Winston. I really like this pick. He comes in on Milo.
Here comes the Dragon Blade Pluppy. Pluppy wanting to wreak some havoc here. Already gets one kill. Will he pick up the second? Gets a double kill on Reinhardt. And just like that, you see Eccentric coming back and taking control of the point. And honestly, team comp wise, I feel like the Eccentric team comp makes a little bit more sense for this game mode than the Mixup comp.
It's a really good point that their composition is centered around this game mode. It's not necessarily their standard composition, but throwing in the Winston, getting Pluppy and Reaper back there too.
Yeah, Ruin is able to pick off Skipjack. I'm not sure if that was a knockoff or what, but Lucio picking the kill. We do see a Earthshatter coming down, only getting the Lucio, but that's enough. Lucio bites the dust. So both teams sort of losing a bunch of plays here, but it's looking like we might have Mixup Can't control the point.
Yeah, Seagull came in and picked off Lou, though, but now Pluppy has got that orb, and he's about to go to town.
Yeah, I was going to say, except for the fact Pluppy is still up, and Pluppy just able to clean up the last few people there. So I think the Harmony Orb Genji is really doing a lot of work in this King of the Hill mode, and I got to say, Hex, I think Mixup needs to quote a term, mix it up.
Yeah, they're going to try to aggress on this left side and make Hardblue try to make some big plays again.
And take a look at this. Pluppy just very contested back and spin. No, he gets taken out by Enigma. Harmony Orb not a factor. And let's take a look at Enigma. He might be dropping the Deadeye any moment. Barrage comes down from above from Hardblue, taking out Burix. And just like that, we see Mixup taking control of the point, and Hardblue again with a triple kill.
Yeah, a little bit late on that Transcendence, unfortunately, and they're not able to even escape off of it. They chase down the kills, and now Mixup in a really good position trying to put time back on this clock.
Yep. That being said, they really can't afford Eccentric taking over the point again, because at 67%, they might not get another chance to reverse the momentum and take the point for themselves.
Well, Eccentric has all the tools to take back the point right now. They have 4 ultimates on their side.
Yeah, they definitely do. So, see how they use this ultimate in a sec. We do have Nadir coming in. The combination of Nadir and Pluppy doing a lot of work. Let's take a look at Pluppy. Pluppy even has his Dragon Blade now, so...
Yeah, that's 5 kills, almost a full wipe. Nadir did go down for it, but that's just the price you pay as Reaper sometimes. A beautiful Death Blossom securing that kill and subsequently the point.
And look at Pluppy. Pluppy, knowing that he has the Harmony Orb to sort of take away any sort of glancing damage, going up, poking, and just delaying Mixup by a little bit more. And now Mixup is sort of in the bad situation where they have to go in quickly, and the only ultimate they have is Deadeye.
Yeah, Deadeye can clear some areas. Not ideal for this game mode, though, but here comes the ultimate on Milo's Winston.
Yeah, and Pluppy able to take out Enigma very, very quickly. Still slicing, dicing. No, gets taken out by Hardblue, and Hardblue has been basically the MVP for Mixup this game, getting so many kills. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. Both teams brought over the fight, and I think just too many people from Mixup are down.
Yeah, Skipjack and Nadir in a monkey fight. We're
going to see, though. As I say that, they're turning the tide, so we see Seagull coming in on the Genji, is taken out, so they are able to take control of the point. Again, making me wrong in the process.
Yeah, Mixup did kind of mix it up. They did bring the Zenyatta, so now he's got that Seagull has the orb. Hardblue is getting some heals as well, so they did change up their strategy and even running a Winston.
Yeah, right now we see Lude was able to take out Enigma, and you're going to see now... really, Hardblue again with an amazing barrage, takes out 3 people, and that could... Well, it's not quite game. They have enough time for a little bit.
The clock moves slowly enough that they can regroup from this. They need to cap it and hold it for about 2 seconds to get this point back and get the first section of this map.
Yep, and if anything's going to happen, it's probably going to come off the blade of Pluppy here. He needs to make something happen. Oh, and he takes out Hardblue. That's an important pick for how much Hardblue has been doing, and they just need to go in now, Hex.
Yeah, Seagull's got the orb. The Deadeye comes in. Transcendence popped immediately in defensive position.
Oh, Enigma with the great plays wasn't having any of what Pluppy was selling, and now both teams down people as they go into the point. We do have Nadir coming out with the Death Blossom. Does he'll take out Pure, but there's more people down on the Eccentric side.
Yeah, Milo and Pure was kind of just stalling that out until their damage dealers got there. Then the McCree came in, and all their damage came to ends and got some kills. This is going crazy.
It is going crazy, but look at this. Skipjack able to help clear out the point. This might be enough. They've capped it, but it's still in overtime. They need to hold it for just a little bit more. No, Winston wasn't able to jump through the window. Milo mistimed the jump. And as a result, the first stage is going to go to Eccentric. So Eccentric, I think they just had the superior strategy starting out there.
Yeah, we saw as soon as Mixup mixed it up, if you will, they were able to contend very well, getting that orb onto their damage dealers. What they were doing was really interesting. Milo would come in with Pure or with Ruin and kind of just stall for time on the point and beat everyone down a little bit, do a little bit of damage. Then came in Seagull, then came in Hardblue, then came in Enigma, and they mopped up fights. Wasn't enough in the end, though.
And just so you guys watching, I know you guys are having a little bit of confusion on the King of the Hill stuff. The Spectator stuff for King of the Hill is clearly a work in progress. It confuses us a little bit at times as well when it comes to calls, but please bear with us. Trying to do the best we can with what we've been given. So right now we see Reinhardt coming out, Skipjack just making space, but it looks like Mixup is sort of, oh no. Oh, look at that bump from Pure, knocking him to his death. That was great. Now we see both teams setting up again, but looks like Mixup will be getting the control point first here, Hex.
Yeah, and a pretty dominant position too. It's that one kill apparently was enough to just scare Eccentric all the way back to their point.
When you lose your Reinhardt for free, it's not a good look, let me tell you. And And I think this is one map where I'm just getting used to watching Lucy a little bit more often because, man, do they love bumping people off the edge. But here comes Eccentric. They're rushing in onto the point and just want to make this their own. Both teams losing players 1 for 1 for 1 right now. And looking at Hardblue. Hardblue has Lewd in his sights. It does kill him, but the deer gets him in the back. So again, these are very, very bloody fights
Pluppy
where
doing
you
some
don't.
great damage. Though Pluppy is getting all the credit for these kills, but everyone he's killing has been Discord orbed. It's some really, really nice play out, likely Zenyatta.
Yeah. So Eccentric now going to take control of the point, and now it's their job to sort of hold people back.
Yeah, it's a really hard point to retake because you have to go through one of these two sides, and neither of them are really good options.
Oh, Seagull was able to pick off Skipjack really quickly. You do not want to be missing your Reinhardt this early in the fight. This is a great opportunity. Nadir, though, takes out Ruin, and here comes a Dragon Blade from Puppy. Can he even the score? He has to back up a bit. That was some nice focus fire coming out from Mixup.
Yeah, Pluppy does ult in, but it's really the damage coming from different angles while everyone's looking at Pluppy, and Lewd cleans up, Nadir cleans up. Everyone's getting kills while Pluppy's distracting them because you have to deal with them. You have to focus with that Genji.
So what you saw there, you saw literally the entire Mix-Up team turn their focus to Pluppy. And as you say, that enabled both Nadir and Lewd to come in and say, hey, you're going to look at our ninja. Why don't you look at us instead? And they just cleaned up.
Yeah, Transcendence goes off early, saving Skipjack from a similar fate that he had last time, and big brawl going
Deadeye is up, Barrage is up. What a nice Earth Shatter helping set up the barrage, but the Lucio Sound Barrier negates most of it, and Eccentric still looking very strong here.
A really nicely timed support alter, the Transcendence, to begin the fight, and then as it was fading and knowing that more ultimates were incoming, Lucio preemptively hit his Sound Barrier so everyone was up.
Yeah, and what we're seeing here, Eccentric now very, very close to winning Stage 2, and if they win Stage 2, they will even up the series 1-1 in this NA versus EU battle.
Hardblue going really deep, gets discorded early on.
Yeah, Hardblue trying to stay alive on the edge, not really close to flying off, but he does have Zenyatta in his sights. Will he be able to take Zenyatta? No, likely shoots him out of the air, and he just imparted some Zen to Hardblue Zenyatta.
Zenyatta is underestimated a lot in one-on-one battles, but you should not underestimate Zenyatta, especially when you're Discord orbed. A couple of those, wow.
I don't even think are they even going to be able to force overtime here? Can they get in time? They are going to force the overtime, but here comes Dragonblade. Pure is tasting dirt, and he's tasting dirt for good. Here comes Pluppy cleaning it up. Lewd, Nadir, and Pluppy just ruining the remainder of Mixup as they tried to rush in, and it's looking very likely that Eccentric has evened the series up, Hex.
Yeah, Pure with a couple deaths there that really changed some fights, and with the patience that Eccentric, displayed by holding back even after giving up 27% of the point, really paid dividends. After that, their support ultimates were just on point.
Yeah. So here's a play of the game from Hardblue. Hardblue has had the, anytime I look at Hardblue, nothing's happening, and then I switch to someone else on his team and Hardblue gets 3 kills. That has been my life today.
Yeah, this was to
oh my god,
yeah.
That was the concussive blast. That was incredible.
That was the first 5 seconds to open the game just with 3 kills, to open the map. And that was so TF2 soldier-wise. Just roll out, bomb in, get kills.
Who needs Rocket Barrage when you can knock 3 people off to their deaths, though?
That was a great play. Hardblue is really showing a lot of talent on Pharah.
Oh, that was phenomenal. I mean, So, I've been keeping clips, of course, for plays of the game and all the rest, but that is got to be into any sort of top 10 for the week. That was incredible. I mean, just for the style points of that, usually play of the game is Q of the game or something like that. That was an E of the game with incredible amounts of style points.
It happened in the first 5 seconds of the map in a tournament. That was insane.
You wouldn't even expect that out of a pub normally, but that was just well placed by Hardblue. So, really good stuff coming up from him. Unfortunately, not enough to take this map. And now in our NAV EU battle, the stakes are being raised because it is 1-1. That being said, this is the GosuGamers Overwatch Weekly NA Cup number 3. We'll be back after a short break and bring you the final definitive map of Eccentric versus Mixup. And we are back with the GosuGamers Overwatch Weekly NA Cup number 3. This is Eccentric versus Mixup, and we are heading to a third and definitive map in this NA versus EU battle.
I think so far over the last couple days, we've seen that like the one team that really likes King of the Hill is Eccentric, and they're really good at it.
Yeah, I mean, they also came with the superior game plan. I mean, you look at how Stage 1 went. Their team comp was superior. The Harmony Orb, not only did they have the Harmony Orb for their own Genji, but the Discord Orb basically made it so that Seagull, without a Harmony Orb of his own, was not able to do anything in the early part of that game. And they did switch up to their credit, but they'd already lost so much time on that point. So, really...
Yeah, what I really liked about the second stage of that map is when they ended up holding back is because they felt like they weren't at the advantage. There was no reason to make a second bad decision by going in there, so they let them have the point for a little bit, then just dominated it afterwards.
So the draft is beginning for the third map, and it is Mixup's ban first. So I don't expect to see them ban Nepal or Lijiang Tower, but I definitely, Mixup, I do expect them to see them ban Nepal and Lijiang Tower, whereas Eccentric, they're going to leave those be. They are very comfortable with King of the Hill.
Yeah, so that's two bans that Mixup is going to have to waste, but in fashion of Overwatch, they ban Anubis first, and Eccentric follows up with Gibraltar banned after.
It's like, you know what, just get Temple out of here. It's almost always the first ban, or at least banned in the first set, and people just don't want to play. It's just sort of like, okay, we're doing map bans. Just get rid of Temple.
I'm a little surprised at all the bans we've seen on Gibraltar over the last few days. It was one of the maps that we saw featured very heavily in the first few weeks of the tournament, a map that I really like watching and playing, but it seems that teams don't favor Gibraltar at all. Hanamura comes out as the next ban from Mixup.
Yeah, definitely not. Gibraltar, it's kind of interesting. We see it banned a little bit more today than we saw yesterday. At least we saw like, what, 1 or 2 games of Gibraltar yesterday? Like so, I mean, it's definitely not in the hatred level of capture points, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be the most popular map right now.
Eccentric bans out King's Row, taking it away from Mixup. Mixup responds by banning out Volskaya, or Hanamura, one of the two. Mixup has banned every control point map.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? We're just going to get rid of it. Why not? But, so King's Row not going to be a factor. Temple Anubis, Hanamura, Volskaya, all gone singular by Mixup. And I think Mixup might use their next 2 bans in Nepal and Lijiang Tower and just take away the ability of playing anything that's not payload.
Yeah,
and they'll
well, Eccentric can force a King of the Hill, though, because I figured they would start banning out these payloads.
Yeah, they actually banned Nambani, so... So down goes Nepal. And I guarantee you Lijiang Tower is going to be the next ban for Mixup, so...
Yeah,
is Eccentric going to ban Dorado here, and will the final map be on Hollywood?
Eccentric gets their choice of whatever payload map they want to take, kind of understanding that Mixup will be banning out.
I think we're going to Hollywood. I think it's going to happen. Yes! Welcome to Hollywood. All right. So this is some new map variety, and I like watching Hollywood and Comp. I think it's a fun map. There's a lot of different ways people can flank in on both attack and defense, and... just, I think, a well-designed map in general. There's
a ton of different strategies on this map, too, and the meta is so different on this map between NA and EU. NA, of course, is always going to be running a Pharaoh, jumping over those walls. We saw 76 as well be run. EU will run a Symmetra on this, specifically Melty will run Symmetra on this map pretty often.
Yeah, it is pretty common, so we're going to be good to go here in just a moment. This is Eccentric versus Mixup, NA versus EU. The final map is about to start, and Hex, do you have any predictions?
I gravitate towards Mixup winning this one as well. I think they were thrown for a little bit for a loop in King of the Hill format, but I think they're going to find steady ground here in payload, and I see Mixup taking this.
Yep. So, and there we go. We are on our way to Hollywood.
Welcome to Hollywood.
I love the limo driver in this, or that
limo driver is pretty.
Limo.
Yep. I mean, he just adds a little bit of extra flavor to the game, you know?
Yeah, Blizzard's always really good about like the voice lines being humorous. Like the Heroes of the Storm introduction voice lines are always really good. A lot of interesting Easter eggs, but on this map, he's insulting a lot of the Overwatch characters from inside his limo.
He does, in particular, it seems like he really does not like McCree. Like, yeah. Just the name, it's what it says, it's like, Jesse McCree? Is that a name for a cowboy? Are you serious?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
For me, McCree's a fine name for a cowboy. Come on now.
Wasn't the cowboy in Toy Story named Jesse?
What? No, that was Woody.
No, the other cow. Wasn't the cowgirl named Jessie?
Maybe. Could have been a thing. I don't remember too much of Toy Story 2, but...
That does Remind me though that McCree needs a Woody skin as soon as possible, or at least a Woody voice line pack.
You know, Toy Story was one of the more definitive movies of our time. It was actually, I think, one of the biggest Pixar breakouts. It's like, hey, look, 3D movies actually look cool.
There's a snake in my boots. All right, so on defense, we have Team Eccentric. It looks like we're on offense, rather. Team Eccentric. Lude is going to be running Diva, Pluppy on Genji, Skipjack on Reinhardt, likely on Zenyatta, Burix on Lucio, and offensive Reaper is going to be played by Nadir.
Yep, no surprise there. Pretty standard lineups across the board, although the defensive Bastion, I'm curious to see how that works out here. And it does seem to be something that really Mixup has taken a liking to. I don't think it's just a fad for them. I think that they think Bastion has a strong place now in the meta.
Yeah, they've got Bastion on top of this ledge here. It's really hard to deal with. It's so deep and like deep in their point that it's really tough to get any hero back there. You're gonna have to go around the flanks. And that's exactly what Nadir's trying to do right now.
It's so hard to get in on that because there's really no other way of going in around. Like, here comes Nadir.
Got up kind of, but he has to reform out of there because he got spotted out.
And just like, okay, up we go. Wait, we've made a terrible mistake.
Made a huge mistake. Yeah, and the Bastion getting heals. So Pluppy going in, but Seagull getting constant heals from Ruin.
Yeah, and this is not at all the attack run that Eccentric wanted here. They really weren't able to deal with the Bastion as well. And you see sort of even Reinhardt running over here and finishing things off. Getting the double kill on both Lude and Burix. Don't see all that often from Reinhardt, but nice play coming up from Milo. And now Pluppy, Pluppy's still staying in there.
Pluppy with a nice reflect and kills Hardblue. So the thing that Pluppy's doing really nice now is putting the fear of Genji in them. They have to know that he's still on their back lines. He can come out any second. So Seagull is going to reposition because of that.
Yep, and he might be pulling out the Dragon Blade any second now. He does take out Seagull. That's a nice play by Pluppy, and Pluppy showing why he might be one of the best Genjis in the game. Here comes Dragon Blade. He's not done yet. He's gonna slice and dice Lucio to death. That's one. Can he get another? He's on the McCree. Enigma, a big threat, does slice out McCree, so some very nice play coming out from Pluppy.
That was a really strong coordinated push from Eccentric. While Pluppy was going in and before he popped his ultimate, the Transcendence came in and the entire team came to support. Then Pluppy started going off and he's got that support of the healing.
And take a look at Pluppy now. We have sort of a Ninja v Ninja duel here, but this is not oh my god. Harblu. The mid-air just definitively sending Genji across the map and ending his life. That's some great stuff from Harblu.
Yeah, he got gunshot brided right there. Nadir coming in, trying to get to these rooftops with his teleport. I don't think they saw him, though, so he might be able to get through.
Oh, Nadir with the back blossom is going to take out Enigma and lead to Ruin's death. But here comes Harblu. Harblu with the... Oh, no. I think I cursed him. Every time I'm not watching Harblu, that works out, and now I just cost him a quad kill because Pluppy killed him immediately.
Yep, now Pluppy's the one with the advantage up top. He's got the orb going against Seagull.
Oh, and Seagull has the Discord orb. This is not good for Seagull. He's going to get taken out by Pluppy. And this is looking pretty good for Eccentric so far, Hex.
Lude with a Diva pistol kill on Milo.
Oh, man.
Don't see that
embarrassment. Oh, Harblu in some trouble here. Has to run away from Genji. Does not want to take that fight one bit.
No, you don't want to one-on-one a Genji ever. And you don't want to one-on-one a Genji with a Harmony orb.
You know, as a... Oh, God. Down goes Harblu. The Discord orb sealing the deal. I think McCree can sometimes do it. Not too bad for McCree.
Yeah, the flashbang helps.
Here comes the Dragon Blade. And he's going straight in. Oh, he's going for McCree. Will he be able to do it? McCree still has a flashbang. Doesn't matter.
Huge ultimate, though, from Skipjack. It's 4 in it, but there's not the follow-up. Now he's out there alone. He's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and Milo has Earth Shatter, but Earth Shatter with no follow-up. I don't think this is really what he wants to go for. But we'll see.
That was a phenomenal Earth Shatter from Eccentric's Reinhardt,
you know,
but they just did not have the follow-up. They had people alive, though. The focus wasn't there.
Yeah, it looked like that was going to go pretty well for Eccentric, but it's just sort of petered out. And Enigma actually on Tracer, I like this. I like this pick so much. So the Tracer switch up is because Tracer, I think, is better than any other hero in the game at punishing the Zenyatta. So now Enigma is going to be a total jerk about things here and put likely on his kill always list.
Not only that, but we were talking about how we don't see Hanzo's earlier. Seagull's playing Hanzo.
Oh my god, wait. We're seeing Hanzo in comp play. Tracer, Hanzo, I don't know who to watch, X.
This is actually one of the best.
Oh, Enigma just annihilated Mei, and he has Burix in sight. Look at Enigma.
The only ones really presenting any threat anymore are Pluppy, which everyone's looking at. Nadir is just hiding. He might be
Enigma and Harblu just surgically took everyone out there. And Seagull gotta kill this. So, okay.
Nadir's behind the whole team, and he's got his Death Blossom up. They don't know he's there.
I'd be remiss. Let's see if we see some salt arrows here. It's called scatter arrow, but the players definitively have always called it salt arrow, and he is looking for the Zenyatta. He wants to get up, but oh no, he just gets destroyed by Nadir. So they're gonna be down one here. This is not a good look for Mixup, and this could end very bad. Nice charge from Skipjack. Doesn't get the kill, but they are in hot pursuit, Hex.
Yeah, it was a nice kill early by Nadir. The Death Blossom was a little ill-positioned, though it did distract the entire team, and this big fight is going to go off, but bleeding players is Eccentric.
Yeah, and honestly, you see Enigma doing all sorts of work on Tracer. I'm so happy to see this. Someone plays Tracer a lot. I'm just happy to see Tracer getting some value in comp play, and he has Pulse Bomb up too for the next engagement.
Yeah, it is a good map for Hanzo though too. It's a pick that we almost never see in competitive play, but he's got the Sonic Arrow to give positioning out, and he's got really good vantage points and escapes to really spam doorways on this map.
If Enigma can just go in here and stick one person and blow them up, he will have effectively already have won the fight for Mixup before it even begins.
Harblu's got to be careful here. He's out alone and he's discorded, but he's pretty confident in his shots.
He killed Puppy, and take a look. Here's the stick. It's on Reinhardt. Unfortunately, not the most worthwhile thing. He wasn't able to get a little bit of extra damage to kill. So Enigma's going to have to back up just a bit here. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Seagull here. He does have the Dragon ultimate up. Dragon Strike. Will he be able to kill Mercy? Gets one hit. Not quite.
Transcendence is forced to pop as they're retreating.
Yeah, and Harblu, there it is. It's because I wasn't watching him. Anytime I watch him, he dies, but now that I'm not watching him, gets a 4 kill. There he goes. And this is looking pretty strong all in all coming out from Mixup right now. They are making the time for them to beat later on a very, very easy one.
Yeah, we see Eccentric actually forced off of their Genji. They're now at a 76 instead, so they're trying to switch up their comps in response to the unorthodox composition we see out of Mixup.
Yep. Oh, and there's the Wolf. It's not just Hanzo, it's Wolf Hanzo. He drops the Wolf, but not to a whole lot of effect, but that's kind of be expected. I mean, Hanzo's ult is more about moving position. Oh no, Milo just got crunched by Skipjack.
That's the initiation they need, but the team is so spread out behind him. They're all in their own battles behind.
Harblu is killing their entire team in the back. He's already gotten 2 kills. That's now a triple kill. Will he pick up the quad? Likely, yes. Harblu with 4 kills in the back. Harblu's been so effective on Pharah in this series.
Yeah, Skipjack had a couple kills on the Reinhardt, doing his best to carry on those big metal shoulders. Not enough, though. They need to find an answer for Harblu. I think that's what Lute is supposed to be doing on 76, but he's having a hard time of it.
Yeah, he's definitely having a hard time, and really, I think this is a point where Eccentric is sort of, they might be out of ideas here, Hex.
I mean, what's your idea? What do you do here?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I mean, it's one of those things where they haven't been running Winstons. Winstons sometimes are sort of something to go for. Harblu getting mid-aired. Does take out the Burks, though, so it's not the worst trade in the world. Seagull does get the Salt Arrow on Nadir, and this is looking very, very good for a Mixup here.
Yeah, just kill after kill, and they seem to be holding mid-stage of Hollywood very well. And this is where we talked about how Pharah can really shine on some maps, and Hollywood is one of those maps. This middle area with these rooftops.
Tracer just got whacked in the mouth by Lude's pulse rifle, but really, Mixup's just looking really good here. It's now Eccentric is going to be fighting for their lives and trying to force overtime and just finish off the map.
Yeah, I thought Eccentric was going to have a chance. They took out Harblu. Harblu is down again, though. Soldier 76 all comes in. This is a desperation push, and it's starting out pretty well for Eccentric.
Yeah, it's not too bad for them thus far. Taking a look at Pluppy. Pluppy switching his character a lot. First he was Janji, then McCree. Now he's, then Pharah. Now McCree. So, and he gets salt arrowed.
Tracer and Hanzo.
Look at that. Hanzo just got a double kill, and he dropped the Wolf as well. Will he get the third? He has Pluppy in his sights.
Mixup reinforcements.
No, he goes down the Pluppy, but some nice Hanzo play coming out from Seagull, and here comes Enigma. Working his Tracer, picks up the double, and both teams are just sprawling over here. You see Mixup really wanting to end this, and Eccentric fighting for their lives. The hammer down from Skipjack takes out Tracer, and this is pandemonium on the point, Hex.
Yeah, they're going to get this point. Harblu does go down as well, so that threat is, well, Harblu does go away anyway. So he's just on the roof. They should be able to isolate him, kill him. They do. Lude with the pickup there.
Yeah, and Skipjack they keep alive, but man, you gotta think about it from a stopwatch point of view. They're taking so much time to do this that really Mixup has to feel good even if they do end up getting capped on here.
Yeah, it's been a really, really stellar defense so far with some unorthodox characters, and they're not necessarily switching off of those characters. I think he's going to come back up as Hanzo, although there is no more Tracer in Mixup composition.
Harblu has Barrage up, and look at his approach here. This could be very, very devastating. Here he comes. Barrage comes down. That's 2, and he gets taken out by Pluppy, but still got value off that barrage. Forces out the res.
Yeah, it's good res come off on both sides.
Take a look at Pluppy. Pluppy right now trying to lay down the McCree damage. They are back up to full strength after that barrage. Skipjack will get taken out, and really just struggling to get through this point. Oh, what a high noon from Pluppy, though! The Deadeye taking out 2 people, and he fans the hammer for the 3rd, and this, suddenly, Eccentric is rolling Hex.
It's a full wipe. Death Blossom came down, Tactical Visor came down, and that's just death and bullets everywhere. A full wipe. However, the spawn points are really fast on how they're
Yeah, it's not over yet. They have a chance to stop this, and let's take a look at Harblue. Harblue has been sort of the savior in these situations, getting so many kills as Pharah. They need to shoot him out of the sky, and they, oh my god, Pluppy. Damage boosted Pluppy not having any of the Pharah shenanigans this time.
Yeah, they're running double Winston and a Pharah. That's one way to stop a limo from moving.
Yeah, and they might be going ape. And Seagull actually picking up 2 kills on Hanzo before dying there.
Yeah, the resurrection does come off. Skipjack in here alone, somehow still alive.
Yeah. He's swinging the hammer, but it's not going to be enough. Pluppy is really far away. Likely goes down. Burrix is... I'm not even sure they're going to make it to the current time to trigger overtime. I don't think they are.
It's gonna be close.
And he gets knocked by Lucio for good measure. So, really, all you need now from...
Mixup, if they finish the map, they win.
Yes.
So 10:35 is the time there. I'm not sure what the first point time was.
Yeah, I mean... I'm not actually sure. I think we have a replay rule and set for anything that's not the finals, but... we'll see how that goes.
Leave it to the administration, man. We've been lucky so far. If Mixup finishes this map, they will take the semis, or go to take the semis, go to the finals. What a crazy match. Harblue with the carry.
Yep. So is 10:35 on the overall side, but that doesn't really matter in this case. But some nice plays coming up from both. Eccentric showing a bit of life in the end, but just wasn't enough.
I mean, we finally get to see Hanzo in competitive as the first.
Yeah, the Hanzo, and it did do some work for a little while. I mean, it was sort of a skeptical, but they were able to get some kills, and, you know, at the very least, it was a neutral pick, if nothing else.
It's a really decent area for him, though, that stage of Hollywood, because he can sit on that back house on the roof where he was most of the time, rather safe in the distance and the spam, because there's really only 3 ways to get in. You can see everyone coming. You're never really going to get snuck up on flanked. And also, in conjunction with the Tracer there, the Tracers get so much intel on where the team is that the Hanzo can feel absolutely safe just throwing arrows down alleys.
Yep. So we are going to the second stage of Hollywood. It is now going to be Eccentric on defense, and they are going to put up a monstrous defense if they want to prevent Mixup here from winning the game and the series.
Yeah, NAEU bragging rights going on here. It's been a great set so far, though, regardless of how it turns out.
Yeah, no, this has been really, really good so far. And Eccentric, again, sort of adding to their King of the Hill mythos. It's going to be interesting to see if teams will give them any King of the Hill maps in future competitive dates, because, I don't know, if I was a competitive team and I was looking at Eccentric, I wouldn't let them have either Nepal or Lijiang Towers.
Right. Eccentric playing defense here, and they are kind of that early on EU-ish defensive meta. They're running a Symmetra and they're running a Torbjorn.
Yeah. So, no bashing coming out from them, but as you say, they have the Torbjorn, so seeing a little bit of a different meta. There meta more on turrets, I suppose, and we'll see if this helps them hold against the incoming Mixup onslaught.
Yeah, and Symmetra's definitely an EU meta hero, so we've got Pluppy on 76, likely is going to be playing the Symmetra, Burrix on Mercy, Skipjack on Reinhardt, Nadir is going to be playing Reaper again, and Lude is going to be running the Torbjorn.
Yep, so more of a standard setup coming out now from Mixup, although we haven't seen the double Pharah as much, and this is going to be the first time today we're going to be seeing Seagull on Pharah. It's been Harblue really sort of holding the Pharah torch and doing really, really well in the series thus far.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage. I think you're going to see them split up in squads, kind of. You're going to see the combo go up, then you're going to see Lucio stick with the Reinhardt, and then everyone else just roaming around trying to create chaos.
Yep, and here comes Seagull. They do have the Lucio speed boost going, but they're not actually going over this too quickly. They're being a little bit methodical, and you see Seagull now laying down the rocket spam on top, trying to make space for his team, but Likely and Lude picking up a kill each, and this intro is not going quite as Mixup as planned.
4 dead. Milo and Pure went down really quick there, and that's a really strong first hold.
Yeah, and definitely aided by the Torbjorn turret. I don't think the Torbjorn turret went down, or if it did, it went down towards the end of it. And the thing is that you have to focus fire on the Torbjorn turret, and you're not actually killing a player.
Right. Also, that first hold is crucial because it gives Symmetra time to get their teleporter up, which it is up now.
Yeah, so now, really, if you're Mixup, you need to win this, not just win the fight, but win it decisively. And wow, Pluppy just shooting Seagull out of the air. He didn't have time to do anything there. Some great 76 aim coming out from Pluppy.
Yeah, Lude contributing on that kill too with his Choreborn rivet gun.
Yeah, and look at the Symmetra orbs too. That's annoying. Like, that's filling a good part of that choke point that they kind of have to go through. They either have to face the Reaper or face the orbs, and neither is a really great option for Mixup here.
Yeah, the Symmetra kind of paragon of defense back here too. She's got 4 sentries up, that teleporter's up, there's a turret as well. It's going to be interesting if this composition can even crack it. Seagull's going to try to pop over the wall.
Yeah, and take a look at Nadir. Nadir's able to rush Milo down. Pluppy takes out Enigma. I think Enigma just ate a Helix rocket to the face. And wow, so this is looking so solid for Eccentric right now.
Yeah, Enigma was trying to get in there on that turret, and it just did not work out for him. I'm not certain of the Tracer pick.
So, let's say this though. Heartblue has Barrage up, and Heartblue has been finding just great opportunities for barrages all day. I'm not going to miss his next good barrage.
Well, we do
maybe I will.
The Tracer is now a Winston, which I think is a really smart pick here. The Seagull barrage comes in.
Yeah, but it's not. They're trading out here, and it's looking like it's going to be in favor of Eccentric yet again. And I think part of the issue is here, if you have all these turrets up, they're okay with trading out, because then if you just run in the point, you still have to deal with both Symmetra turrets and potentially the Torbjorn turret if it hasn't died yet.
Yeah, second teleporter back up, and is this where we saw Pluppy yesterday, just hanging out up here, just poking away at 76? I know we saw someone do it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Pluppy or what, but this is a very, very popular 76 spot, and frankly, it's a very effective 76 spot.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of entrances into Hollywood. One of the biggest entrances, why Farrah's so strong, is over that wall, and 76 completely denies that entrance point.
Yeah, and look at Seagull right now. Seagull has to worry about the 76, and he has to be very careful about how he pushes in. Pluppy already shooting down one of the Farrahs in Torbjorn, takes out Pure. Also, his name is Pure, not Pure. We're going to switch up. Name is Pure. Anyways, looking at this, and this is just looking so solid for Eccentric.
Yeah, I really like the angle of aggression they took there. They had to do something different, and it was kind of a good idea, but just the execution.
Did you just see Pluppy just annihilated the entirety of the Mixup team? He is so comfortable in this point. If I'm Mixup right now, I have to think of a way of dealing with Pluppy, because he is being devastating at the moment.
Yeah, they put Seagull on a Winston that could do it, try to take the high ground. They're running a double Lucio too, maybe feeling the urge of time kicking in here, and Enigma's on a Zarya, so a whole new composition for Mixup.
Yeah, here they come. They're going with the Zarya. They gotta throw something at here. Zarya now taking all her focus on the turret, but it doesn't matter because 3 of his teammates have died to the great defense of Eccentric. Lude getting, I think, 3 people there as Torbjorn, and...
Yeah, both tanks died immediately. Pure died on Lucio. Oof.
I gotta say, this is very grim for Mixup, because their tournament life is on the line here, X. If they don't cap this point in a minute, that's it. GG, game over. Eccentric will go to the finals representing EU.
Yeah, and they're in great position to do it. They've got defensive ultimates up. Skipjack has Earth Shatter up. Resurrection is up too, so they have to win this fight twice.
Yeah, they do. And look at this. What a defense going down. Everyone getting wiped out by almost every member of the Eccentric team getting a kill there. Pluppy, Nadir, Skipjack, Lude, all doing great work. And wow, that speed did not work. And there's only 35 seconds now in Mixup tournament life if they can't get through here.
This might not be something that Mixup is used to playing against. You don't often see a Symmetra and a Choreborn. It's hard to really allocate enough resources for either and focus your fire where it needs to be.
25 seconds remain on the clock. Will they be able to get it? They need to get it on this push X if they want to stand a chance, but likely Nadir taking 2 people out immediately. Heartblue actually got domed by a Symmetra orb, and this is just not looking good for Mixup.
Yeah, that Zarya ult, the Resurrection is still available. This Mercy's got to be playing super passive. Mercy gets taken down, the Burks is down. This opens a small window for Mixup.
Yeah, and Milo nowhere near, and Pluppy still defending in the back. Overtime is active. They have to stand the point. They can't let it end, and there it is! Eccentric striking first blood in the EU-NA rivalry, sending Mixup home and going to the grand finals.
It was such an EU win, too, wasn't it? With the Symmetra and the teleporter up, with a Choreborn, just solid defense all over the place. That was EU meta defined on Hollywood.
That was just amazing. And look at this combination from Nadir. Nadir dropping the Death Blossom in combination with the Earth Shatter, and wow. So, chat gets a little bit fodder. EU takes it over NA, and and Eccentric is moving on to our grand
Well,
finals.
let's check that bracket. We might have an all EU finals.
Very well might. So,